Hi everybody, thanks so much for joining me. Welcome to Stampin' Sue Creates. I am an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up! And I also play along with some sewing, unboxings, machine embroidery, you name it. You never know what you're going to have here. So today, well, first off, if you're new here, welcome. Be sure to hit the subscribe button. It helps me out tremendously. I'm so shocked to see how many of you watch all the time but aren't subscribed. And if you ring the notification bell to the right of the subscribe button, you will receive notifications when I upload new videos. So, we're here today to talk about hoops. So this is a machine embroidery video. So if you're not into that, or maybe you are curious, stick around. If you're not, then check out one of the other videos I have uploaded. But hey, never hurts to have a little bit of information. You never know when it may come up in one of those game shows. All right, joking aside, we are here to talk about hoops and that size matters. Now, a lot of times we hear size doesn't matter, but in embroidery world, size does matter. This is probably the most requested, what's the word I'm looking for? Sorry, my words aren't working. It's Saturday, it's the first day of spring, it's a beautiful day, and it is March 20th, 2021. So the most asked questions I get in my comments are on the first embroidery machine I owned, which was the PE 535. Now that is only a 4x4 hoop size. Since then, I upgraded to an Innova 1600, and now I have a Brother Innova's Essence machine. So this is where the topic of size matters, and let me explain it to you, so maybe this will help those of you that have questions about it. So the first embroidery machine I had, when I never did embroidery in my life, I thought, well, this was before the whole pandemic hit. Okay, now prices are out of this world, expensive, but they'll come down, or check secondhand. Okay, back to the hoops. Sorry, I get like squirrels all the time. So the PE 535 was a great machine, and I trade in when I upgrade to new machine. I trade in, but this was the size hoop it would accept. Now notice on this little square here on my cutting mat, it has different square sizes. So this is typically for when you're cutting fabric or you're doing quilting. So 4x4 is right here, okay? 2x2, 4x4. And this is the 4x4 hoop. So you may look at this hoop and think, well, wow, I can get like a 6, let me see, would I be able to? Yeah, heck, I can get a 6x6 image in that. No, you can't. The size that the 4x4 hoop, where it only accepts 4x4, and check that out when you're looking into a machine, is only this. So if you're doing a design where it may be out of the 4x4 size, you're not going to be able to do it, because the machine will only stitch in this area, even though the hoop is larger, okay? So keep that in mind. Now, I've had questions where, well, can I get a bigger hoop and use a bigger hoop? Well, certainly, as long as, check your manual, see what type of hoop your machine requires. Mine has this slide-in type. The smaller ones may have the side here where it has a metal piece and you have to kind of click it in there. So say the design you purchased was a 5x7, and that's another thing to keep in mind. That's a whole other ball game, but we're going to stick on hoops today. If you get a larger size hoop that will fit your machine, just keep in mind you only have this 4x4 area in which to stitch your design. So if you have a design that is a little bit bigger, you can take your hoop, okay, stitch your design, and maybe you wanted to add, so say your design was like 4x4, maybe you wanted to add some personalization, a name to it, for instance, or something like that. You can finish this design, take it out of your hoop, take your hoop and reposition it, so take it totally out, find another spot. So if you wanted to put something up here, just reposition your hoop, your same 4x4 hoop, and you can then add more to it. So if you wanted to add other things to your smaller design, you just have to unhoop it, restabilize it, or maybe you could still utilize the stabilizer that's in it. Probably not, but depending. And just reposition your hoop. Take it out and put it in another spot on your on your project, and do the other spot of it. So if you had like a huge quilt kind of thing and you were doing like small little designs, that's what's called rehooping. Okay, so you're doing your design, finishing that, putting in a new stabilizer, moving into another area, stitching a design, and so on. Okay, now, so this is 4x4. So the PE 535, I believe it was, only did up to 4x4 designs. So keep that in mind when you're looking at machines. So you want to ask yourself, what is it that I'm going to do with the machine? How big of a design am I going to want to do? Well, you know, this is where bigger is better, but also keep in mind bigger is more expensive. So the size, I have all of my hoops lined up here, and it's all starting to be an avalanche. Now the size machine starting off, minimum size, 4x4 is great. Check your budget. Don't go beyond what you can't afford. Okay, I know we just got a stimulus check. Maybe you have a little bit extra money that you want to go to larger than 4x4. My recommendation is the 5x7 hoop. So again, this is 5x7. Now it's showing up. Excuse me, I have this frog in my throat this morning. It's showing up about 9 wide here, and well, about 9 there. I guess I don't know, it just looks longer to me, but whatever. So 5x7 is larger, of course, than 4x4. So you have a lot more space, a lot larger design that you can do. So PE 800 by Brother. Now I only know Brother machines because that's all I own. I have a second hand, which I bought on Marketplace, a PE 770. It's a great machine. However, the little screen on it is in, well, it's supposedly black and white, but it's kind of like bluish tinge, blue and blue. And it's very hard to see the images on it. But if that's what your budget can afford, then go for it. Try secondhand markets. Make sure you check stitch counts. Was it taken care of? How old is it? You know, has it been serviced? A lot of questions you have to ask yourself. Or if that's just like too much trouble, you can go and buy a new one. And I mean, like I said, though, cost of the embroidery machines, sewing machines has gone out of the roof since this whole issue. So 5x7 is a nice design. Check the designs, you know, say some of the known designers that digitize designs, and that's what it's called when you take an image, excuse me, and you make it into an embroidery design. It's called digitizing. That's a whole other ball game. Don't even ask about that. I have no idea. I'm not interested in that. I buy the designs and I stitch them. And check like Creative Kiwi. I need a good design. Let me see. Kimberbell. I'm just thinking of a few off the top of my head. You can look on Etsy, but check reviews. Make sure that the design you're buying has good reviews, because there are a lot of good digitizers and bad digitizers. So we had 4x4, 5x7. Now, I don't know the exact sizes of all of these hoops. And like I said, there goes my avalanche again. But I purchased my machines at Pocono Sew and Vac in East Stroudsburg, PA. So definitely, if you're in the northeastern part of Pennsylvania or anywhere around the vicinity of that, check them out. They have an online website, PoconoSewandVac.com. I dealt with Fred when I went there, so you can ask for Fred and tell him Susan Timchak sent you. I told him I would promote their store because I'm very happy with their customer service. They're a down-home company that knows how to treat their customers and spoil them. So when I got my newest machine, Fred threw in a couple extra things for me. So he had asked me, you know, what would you like? I want to give you a couple extra things. So of course my thing was hoops. Give me hoops. Never have enough hoops, right? So this one is a little bit larger. I'm going to look by this. I'm going to say this one is a 6x6 square. I could be wrong. 6x6 is what I'm thinking. So maybe you do quilting and you like to do 6x6 blocks. Well, this might be a hoop you might be interested in, right? Right. But maybe you like to do, and hold on for the avalanche, larger blocks. This one is an 8x8. Is it even in the whole picture? I'm going to have to start turning them. This is an 8x8 size hoop, okay? So you have, here's 8x8. You have this huge area as opposed to a little 4x4. And I apologize for my throat this morning. I think it's allergies because it's a beautiful day. All right, so this is 8x8, okay? So you can see the difference. Let's bring in the 4x4 versus 8x8. So you want to check, you know, what are you going to be doing? What type of projects are you going to be doing? What size hoop do you want? How much do you have to spend? Are you going to buy new? Are you going to buy used? These are all the things that you want to keep in mind. And again, I am not an expert on this. I am learning as I go. So anything I kind of learn that I can help you with, I'm here. All right. So how about a little bit larger? Now we're getting into longer ones. So this one is a 6x11 or 6x10, something like that. So again, now you only have this area here, but you can flip your project if it's a longer project. Flip your project and stitch it out this way, but you only have this amount of space to do. All right, let me see what else I've got here. Now this one, and I don't even think this is going to fit into the picture. This is the largest hoop. Let me put it down. Maybe you could kind of see. Move this. No, you probably can't even. Maybe this way. Well, it fills my screen. I don't know what you're getting to see. This is the largest hoop size that my machine will do. And I want to say 8x12, but don't quote me on that. Let me show you a project that I did in that. And we're going to be doing a video on this because someone asked. I did this bunny in this size hoop. Okay, this is a free design. You can get this from, oh my gosh, let me think. Creative Kiwi, and it's creative with a K, Kiwi with a K. And I'm going to be doing this stitch out because somebody asked me. So this is in the hoop project, which means everything is done in the hoop. And of course, this comes in different sizes. So this one is the largest. I believe this is the largest. The size of this bunny is 10x10. Let me bring back in that 4x4 hoop. You can never do it at a 4x4. Okay, let's see the 5x7. Okay, you couldn't do it in the 5x7. So they do have smaller sizes. So if you do have a machine that has a smaller hoop, you just won't be able to do this size. Okay, so keep all of those things in mind. Now, let me move these. I have two other hoops to show you that I've experimented with. And these I get from Dime, which is D-I-M-E, and it's, what does that stand for? It's capital letters Dime. It stands for something. I can't remember what it is. This one, you might look at it and say, well, what's up with that? That's only one hoop. Here's what you do with this one. And I don't know if I don't have it right here with me. So this is just one hoop. And this is a little bit more than the other hoops. But this one you use sticky stabilizer. So they sell the sticky stabilizer in a whole roll, or you can buy it in sheets. And what I've done is put the sticky stabilizer, the sticky part that way. So you would put it on your design, and stick it on the back of your hoop, and that's why you're seeing all this. Now there's other fancy ways to do it. I see where people put it on and they make an X and then they only peel off that, you know, kind of thing. But the sticky stabilizer sticks to the back of the hoop. So it's like a peel and stick paper. So you peel it, you put it down, put your hoop on top of it, and then the surface, if there was stabilizer, when you put your finger, it's sticky. Okay, so when you go to do your project, whatever it may be, you know, just pretend this is the fabric, you would stick your fabric right onto here. And then you don't have any hoop in the way. You don't have to worry about hooping. I like to use these when I'm doing something that I have to do a lot of cutting, like an applique, or maybe a sweatshirt or t-shirt, or, you know, things like that. Or sometimes I just don't want to hoop something. I just want to what is called floating, and that is using the top. Again, it's sticky. You lay on your, say you're doing a quilt block, you lay on your batting, your fabric on top, so that your batting is sticking to the hoop, and you don't have to worry about putting it between the two hoops to, well, what they call hoop it. So I probably should explain that a little bit. So, so before I go on, well, you know what, let me go on and then I'll go back and talk a little bit about that. So this is another hoop that you can use instead of using the double hoop. And like I said, I'll show you that. Okay, one more hoop, and these, I mean, there could be other ones out there. This is what I've played with, is this one. Okay, now this one is a magnetic hoop, and notice it says warning, because this is very strong. And although you've heard before you can't use any magnets near electronic equipment, they've come a long way with that. This is safe to use with your embroidery machine. However, if you have heart conditions, if you have a pacemaker, if you have anything like that, just, you know, you check with it before you purchase it. Make sure it's something safe you can use. I wouldn't put any, I don't know, anything magnetic too close to it, for one thing, because these are very strong. And if you're wondering, what is that thing in the center? That is to help you to take it apart. Okay? So this is for storing, and I put that between, you know, which it comes with that. So I'm going to put this off to the side, and I want to show you something. All right. So here's stabilizer. Okay, I took this out of one of my hoops. So pretend this is my stabilizer. Okay, gonna pretend my fabric is on here, my batting, whatever it may be. Okay, then I'm gonna take my hoop, and look at that. And sorry if it made you jump, because this is magnetic, and it's kind of hard to move around, but this, and it has nice little strips here on the back, so this metal isn't rubbing on your machine when it's going. But this takes out all the worries of having to fumble with this. Okay, so your hoop is, you would fix that a little better than me, but this makes me nervous. I have to be honest. I love this hoop, but it just makes me nervous. I'm afraid I'm going to get my fingers pinched, because it's happened the first time. I didn't realize how strong these magnets are. But this is a great resource if you fumble with this, or you have something that maybe is a little bit thicker, but you want to hoop it. This is your answer to that. Okay, I'm going to put this off to the side, and let me explain about how these hoops work. And let me bring in another piece of stabilizer. So this is a double piece that I have here. Okay, so you have your hoop, and this is a 4x4. So you're going to use your stabilizer. Okay, you're going to put your fabric in here. Okay, then what you want to do is you want to, now there's little screws here on the bottom. You can loosen or tighten them as needed. You want to make sure that your stabilizer is in nice and taut. Okay, so you can see I have a little wrinkle there. Let me open this up. I should have it a little bit larger. You want your stabilizer to be larger than your hoop. This is like a little bit too large, but you want to have some overhang. And again, this has a fold in it because I had it in one of the hoops. And so you want to kind of press it in there. Now I haven't tightened it up yet. And let me tighten it up just a tad So just this little screw under here tightens up. And I'm just going to kind of pull this a little bit to tighten it. And see that? How nice and tight that is? You hear that? Sounds like a drum. That's how you want your stabilizer to be in your hoop. Make sure that this is flush. So what I like to do is just press on it. And you're good to go. If you have your fabric in there, whatever you're working on, that kind of thing. So floating would basically be, now this is just a piece of paper. I'm doing some stamp projects this weekend too. So if this is my fabric, you put a piece of your batting. If you're doing quilted design, put a piece of your batting, your fabric over the top, and it's just kind of floating in your frame, okay? If you want to use this, but you don't have the sticky paper, they have a spray. Make sure it's safe for embroidery. A spray fixative adhesive that you can just spray it away from your machine. Maybe have a cardboard box that you can put it in and spray onto here, and then take your fabric and then press it down, and your fabric will stick to the stabilizer. So sometimes you may need to do that depending on what you're doing. Okay? So I don't know. Did I miss anything? I'm hoping I didn't, but I was going to show myself, but you don't want to see this because I'm just out of the shower and I wanted to do this video quick before I got involved in other things. And my hair's in rollers and nobody wants to see that. Okay, so that is hopefully a little talk between friends on hoop sizes and hoop size does matter. So I hope I've helped you. If I have, be sure to leave me a thumbs up. Leave me a comment down below. Do you have any other questions? I will try to answer them. If not, I will get an answer for you. What else do I want to say? Be sure to subscribe. Hit the thumbs up, leave a comment, share this with other friends. You may have embroidery friends, or maybe friends that are thinking of wanting to embroider. Let them know. Tell them to come on over and check out Stampin' Sew Creates. So I hope you have a wonderful day. Be safe out there. Be well. Happy stitching. And we'll see you back here again real soon. Bye for now.